Hello, Thrivers. Welcome back here to High Thrive Coaching. I'm Heather Choate, and today I'm going to be talking with you guys about how to open up any conversation and the 3 secret proven conversation techniques that have helped over 12,000 of our clients to be able to save their marriage. Make sure you stay to the end because I'm going to reveal the one sentence that you can use right now that's going to start to reduce the tension in less than 24 hours with your spouse. All right. So welcome back here, Thrivers. I'm Heather Choate. I'm grateful and honored to be here with you guys today. And I want to talk about how to have amazing communication in your marriage. Raise your hand, leave a comment if you feel like communication right now is maybe less than great, especially if your spouse is pulling away, if they're saying I'm having an affair, if they're wanting out or wanting a divorce. I don't know about you guys, but I've been married 16 years. And when my marriage struggles, communication is always the first thing that goes out the window. So leave a comment. Let me know what your situation is. I read every single comment and I'd love to be able to help you with that. So as we're talking about communication here, I want to ask you guys, what is it that you are wanting to communicate about? What do you wish that you could communicate about openly with your partner? How would you like your communication to really look, to feel? How would you like your partner to feel about your communication right now? See, more often than not, when people come to me and they say, oh, we've got poor communication, it really means that they're really not able to communicate or talk about what they're needing, and that neither partner really feels understood. And so if you don't have an ability to communicate with your partner how you're feeling, what you're needing, and they don't have an ability to communicate how they're feeling and what they're needing, that can become a major obstacle to having deeper levels of connection and intimacy, right? Right. So that's why we're here, because we've all experienced that. Communication is something that we are not taught by our parents. Usually it's not modeled well in our culture or our society, and it is a skill that we can learn. So that's the good news. All right, let's jump right in here to these 3 secret techniques on how to have any conversation and be able to have the kind of communication that you guys want. Awesome. So first secret technique here is that I want you to do an assessment of your connection before you communicate. I know it might sound like a hassle, but it's so important. Before you communicate, I want you to assess how connected are we right now? And I know for a lot of you, you're going to be saying, we're not connected at all. Like, we couldn't be more disconnected. We couldn't be more misunderstanding each other. We couldn't be more, on opposite sides of the spectrum here, or they're so closed off, or they just turn around and blame me for everything, or there's so much tension between us. I feel like we can never really resolve issues, right? So ask yourself some of these questions before you start to communicate, because connection is more important than communication. What you're wanting with your communication is you're wanting connection. Just saying a bunch of words that leads to more disconnection cannot be the goal. If we're doing that, we're just leading our marriage to a worse and worse situation. Agreed? So ask yourself some of these questions. Do I want to feel emotionally connected with my partner? Do I want to feel emotionally connected with them? Okay. And then number 2, how curious am I to learn his or her perspective? This one trips me up a lot, and I know it gets a lot of us, but how curious am I to learn their perspective? Or am I just wanting to bulldoze or just emotionally vomit? Or I know I'm so right, so I've just got to prove it to them and I've got to get them to come to my side, right? Or meet my needs. But how curious are you about their perspective? 3, do I care how he or she feels right now? Do I care? Or am I so upset that I'm just going to go and say whatever I want to say, and I don't really care how they are feeling? Okay. And number 4, what do I love and value about my partner? So after you've asked yourself these questions, decide whether your connection is more important than the topic of your communication. You must convey that you will love and value your partner, whether she or he agrees with you or not. Anything short of this, my friends, is going to devalue the connection. It's not as important as what you want to talk about as what you want the end results of the conversation to be. If you keep the above questions in mind, it becomes much easier to have better communication. All right. So go on, try that. Give it a try. Become a little more thoughtful and a little more aware of your intention before you communicate. And let's go to secret technique number 2 is don't talk about the marriage if your spouse doesn't want to continue it. This is a huge mistake that I see so many people making. I'll be the first to raise my hand and say, I've done it too. It seems really natural and instinctual. You go into fear because your partner is pulling away, and all you want to do is talk about the relationship and fix all the big issues so they'll want to come back to you. But what actually happens here, my friends, is that if you are still talking about the relationship and your spouse wants out, what this is actually communicating to your partner is that you are not considering what they want. If they already want out and they're feeling like you are not considering what they want, how likely will they be to want to talk to you about it more? Not very likely, right? This is one of those mistakes that a lot of people make that unintentionally pushes your spouse further away. And I want to make sure that you are not making this mistake. So talking about a problem only reduces tension when what you want is the same as what the other person wants. Shared goals are needed. So instead, work toward shared goals and do something rather than talk about something. For example, instead of talking about how things will be different and how you're going to change and how they'll be happy and please come back and please give me another chance, or you have to work on the marriage with me, blah, 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 right? Go out and make the changes that you need to make. So if your spouse was angry about how you would drink, then stop drinking. If your partner complained about how they were ignored, be very considerate of their needs. If they felt like you were emotionally abusive, then take anger management courses, seek professional help, talk to friends about the problem, talk to a religious leader, do something. The bottom line is you can talk about shared goals. If your marriage goals aren't in alignment, then do something rather than just talk about it. Now, you might be thinking, we don't have any goals in common. What they're wanting and what I'm wanting are so far different. But you are wrong. There are things that your spouse, your partner, he or she absolutely does want, and that you can have a common shared goal about, even if they're on the verge of divorce, even if you have divorce papers signed, even if they're having an affair, even if they say, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Yes, we have helped every single client that has come to us find shared goals that start to get your spouse to take steps towards you and actually want to be in the relationship with you and spend time with you and talk more with you, communicate more with you, and have a better connection with you. So if you are wanting help with this and you want to know how do we create some common goals at this point in your marriage, it's going to take a custom approach. So text our 24-hour marriage hotline, the number right here on the screen and also in the description below. And you can text us at no cost. That number is 1-862-356-6140. So text our 24-hour marriage hotline, no cost to you, to see how you can start to create some shared goals that are not going to unintentionally push your spouse further away. Awesome. Now, I told you at the beginning, and I'm super excited for this last one, that I would share with you what you can do right now, including the one sentence that you can say today that is going to start to reduce the tension in your marriage in less than 24 hours so that they feel safe to open up to you. All right, here it is. So The bottom line is that when tension builds up, the natural effect, right, is to close up, take fewer emotional risks, and share less personal information. And so if there's a lot of tension in your marriage right now, this is probably what your spouse is doing, and you may be doing it as well. After all, tension is the opposite of feeling safe, and safety is needed to open up and be vulnerable. What then happens is that the couple settles into a routine of discussing only surface level issues. Does that sound familiar? Let me know in the comments if you can only talk about surface level things. You're not alone, right? But you can always build intimacy by digging a little deeper and being curious as you try to understand their perspective. The more you can encourage your spouse to share, the less judgment that exists in your discussions. The more likely you will be able to have real conversations, the ones you really want to have. So one way to encourage sharing is by noticing what is happening and simply asking more questions. Every time the conversation comes to a dead end, or maybe you just get a single word answer, this is actually an opportunity to dig deeper. And instead of judging what they're doing or getting defensive about it, instead, what you're going to do is actually try to understand your spouse's point of view, even if you don't agree with it. Specifically, you should try to rationalize and understand how they probably came to their conclusion. This develops understanding and usually demonstrates some amount of empathy. So the sentence you can use right now to reduce tension between you in the next 24 hours is, what is it like when, insert blank. So what is it like when, and ask them about a struggle that they might be having. So what is it like when you feel like I'm not hearing you? What is it like when the kids are not being respectful to you? What is it like when you feel like everything's falling apart at work, right? Whatever their struggle is that they might be having, just ask them, what is it like for you when that happens? And this will be an amazing open invitation to show that you are really caring and trying to understand them. Everyone craves understanding. Your spouse craves to be understood. Yeah, they might not be saying that right now. You might not be feeling it, but deep down underneath it all, we all crave feeling understood. And so this question is something really powerful. And I want you to go and try it in your marriage right now and let me know how the tension reduces just by using that approach. Coming at it from not a place of manipulation, not a place of trying to get them to do anything or to come back to you, but a place of genuine care and wanting to know what it is like for them. Okay, so leave a comment, let me know. I'd love to see how it goes for you. So again, if you want expert guidance on this to ensure that you do not unintentionally push them further away and that they actually want to be with you, then make sure you text that marriage hotline, 24-hour marriage hotline right now, no cost. Again, I'll put the number here on the screen and in the description below, and we will get you help immediately. All right. So my friends, comment which of these 3 secret techniques you found helpful, which one stood out to you the most. What do you think will help you have amazing connective communication with your spouse? The kind that you can really talk about anything and be accepted for who you are, where your spouse can talk about anything and be accepted for who they are. What do you feel is blocking you from having that right now? Leave a comment below. Again, I read every single one of them, and I'd love to help you with that. Make sure you like this video if it was helpful for you, and subscribe if you would like to get more videos like this on how to have a thriving marriage no matter what. Thank you guys for watching, and I cannot wait to see your marriage thrive.
Thanks for listening to The Thriving Marriage, your A to Z blueprint for not just surviving marriage, but thriving. Until next time, my friends, thrive on.